custody of his daughter because of this incident. Think about that. But let's start right now with the person we just showed you, Teresa Odom. This is the woman whose traffic stop we have been playing throughout this case because Wester's body cam footage arguably shows him holding a small baggie before searching Odom's car. There's a lot to talk about here. So let me bring in my very special guest joining me this morning, criminal appeals lawyer Matthew Barhoma. Matthew, it's good to see you here. And what a case that we're talking about. Let's talk about the last 2 days. How do you think the prosecution has been doing at establishing what, is this pattern of abuse? Have they been doing a thorough job of that, a clear job of that?
Certainly. I mean, there is in-person testimony, there is video evidence, and it's been pretty clear, it's been pretty well documented that there is a regime here, or almost a systematic character trait that continues to appear throughout victim to victim. And what it's led to is a well-documented stream of evidence, but also, is there possible civil consequences that come out of this later? We'll see.
That's a big point. So a big point from the defense was a number of these alleged victims have filed a civil lawsuit, and the argument is, well, they're biased. They're not credible. They're seeking money. And if they can secure a conviction, if the government can secure a conviction against Wester, it'll sure help their chances in a civil suit. Is that enough in the mind of a jury to say that these witnesses are not credible?
Once you get a conviction, jury members are almost always just never going to be able to see past it. They're going to see someone who maybe has done something wrong, and they're going to say he's wrong. And so if a conviction is attained, the civil case, knock it out of the ballpark. If conviction is not attained, there's still pretty damning evidence that looks pretty bad when it comes to the defendant.
Well, let's play devil's advocate here for a second, because 67 charges looks like just a mountain for the defense to climb. We see these body cam footage. The body cam footage from Wester shuts off very conveniently at times. We know there's the video from the Odom arrest where you maybe see him holding this baggie. But let's flip it for a second, because a number of the witnesses we heard yesterday were stopped, and they either had marijuana in their car, they admitted it. One person had said, I used to do meth, but I don't do it anymore. Another person said, well, my mom used to have a meth problem, but she hasn't had it in a long time. So from one point of view, you could say, okay, yeah, maybe they had issues in the past. That doesn't have anything to do with here. And maybe they had marijuana and has nothing to do with meth. On the other hand, if you're thinking about it, if this was any other case, wouldn't you say maybe the officer was justified in pulling them over, and maybe there really was drugs and there really were drugs in the car? What do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, you could almost say the defendant went after people who had, personality traits or certain characteristics that looked a certain way. And so ultimately, it's not like he was going around selecting, the best people. No, he was going around selecting people who maybe had, specific characteristics about them. Even the DA in his opening statement takes the sting out of it. Says, "Hey, the star witness, Miss Odom, her car, you're going to see it in the video. It's not that nice." So it's almost like he went after people who had a propensity to possibly, have these kinds of allegations against them, and it could plausibly be true. But the question really becomes, was it systematic? Was he planting these things systematically, or was it actually true? And that's what this case is all about.
Well, I talk about the Teresa Odom body cam footage. That's really important. Let's take a look at it.